Bechavod, who wants to be the first one to ask a question? Habud.
So last week we spoke about dreams.
Ken.
How like dream vision stuff. What about when it comes to deja vu? If like, how does it take like place in Yiddishkeit?
Deja vu. Okay, so the Arizal writes in a work called Shara Gilgulim. Shara Gilgulim is a very high-level book full of things that are very mystical, things that are supernatural, but also things that can be very, very confusing. I think I mentioned it to you guys before. In Shara Gilgulim, he talks in details about how each one of us in reality has been here before. We've been here before. So when you ask a question, for example, okay, so let's say in the time of the Holocaust, there were a lot of people that were wicked, Mechalei Shabbat, murderers, rapists, pedophiles that died, and there were some good people that died. You could always rationalize why Hashem killed this one, why Hashem killed that one, but the one thing that people have a difficulty with is the babies. What'd the baby do? What'd the little baby do? He's only 2 years old, he doesn't even know Aleph Bet yet. And why did Hashem kill him also in the Holocaust? Why did Hashem kill little babies now? Sometimes you have a baby, mamash, born sick, and sometimes, unfortunately, Hashem decides to take him out of the world. So the reason is because there's no such thing as baby. The neshama that you have right now was originally here from the time of creation. All of our neshamot were originally inside Adam HaRishon. Adam HaRishon had all of the neshamot, and his neshama split into all of the neshamot into the world. Now, in each one of those neshamot that broke off into another person, that person had a mission in the world. If they achieved that mission, that spiritual mission that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had, that neshama graduates and goes to Gan Eden, goes to heaven forever. If it fails, depending on the level of failure, Hashem can do something called Gilgul, which is reincarnation in English, meaning give that neshama another chance at life to redo what they failed at in the previous life. So if, let's say, for example, person, just hypothetically speaking, came into the world and he kept Shabbat and he kept kosher and he did a lot of things right. But one time he stole $150 from one of his friends. Stole it. He was 18, 19 years old. And he needed the money, or the money was kind of smiling at him. Even though it was in his friend's pocket, it was looking at him. It was like winked his eye. So he figured, maybe it's winking at me, maybe I'll take it. And life went on. He took the $150. His friend cried about it. He didn't know who stole it from him because he would never question his friend. My friend's never going to steal from me. By the way, it usually is your friends that steal from you. Just to let you know, sir. Happened to me a few times. All the money that has ever been stolen from me, only for my friends. Not to you if you question your friends, it's just a reality check. If the friend is a Talmid Chacham, then you don't have to worry about it. But if it's not, unfortunately, sometimes that's what happens. Point being is that life happened, the 18-year-old moved on, he forgot that he even stole his $150, he got a job, he got married, he went on in his life, 40, 50 years old, one day Hashem decides to take him from the world, and he comes back, he comes to Shamayim, he's like, oh, I kept Shabbat, I kept mitzvot, I kept everything, and Hashem says, yes, you kept everything, but we have a rule. We have a rule in Shamayim. No one that has blood on their hands is allowed to enter heaven. He says, no, I never killed anybody, Hashem. He goes, no, you didn't kill anybody, but we have something called money. Money is called damim. Damim means blood in the holy language, because people spend their life chasing money. So when you steal money, it's like you stole a piece of somebody's life. He spent 5 hours of his life to get that $150. So you stole 5 hours of his life. Hashem says, if you steal and don't return it, you stole life. You have to come back, and he has to come back also. And you have to pay him back. You have to return that money that you stole. So that person, even though he kept all of the mitzvot, because he did not do tshuva for stealing, Hashem has to give him another opportunity to do tshuva for this thing. There's a very famous story from the Baal Shem Tov of somebody that owned owned some horses, and the Baal Shem Tov came to him and he said, I want to buy a horse from you. Can I buy any one of them? He says, yeah. He says, I want to buy this one. He goes, no, Rabbi, any horse you want. I have 500 horses, just not that one. He goes, why? Because this one is the best worker. This one, I don't even have to tell him to work, he works. He said, yeah, but I want that one. He goes, okay, Rabbi, it's you. Fine, sold. As soon as he said sold, the horse died. So the guy got scared. He says, what happened? He goes, oh, do you have anybody that you know that died? He goes, yeah, my best friend. My best friend died 3 weeks ago. He goes, did your best friend owe you any money? He said, yeah. How do you know, Rabbi? He goes, because I have Ruach HaKodesh, and I knew that your best friend's neshama was inside that horse. That's why he came back as a Gilgul. Came back as a reincarnation into the horse, and he had to work for you until he paid the money back. Point being, Rabotai Yekarim, is that it's very common language in the Torah that reincarnation exists. So when a baby dies, it's not really a baby, it's a neshama that Hashem gave them a certain mission, maybe perhaps to live for only 1 week, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, and so on and so forth. Now, why did I mention all of this? Is because this is one of the main ways that we could easily explain and answer your question. If you go into a certain place that you've never been in your life now, you live in the world 15, 20 years, whatever it is, but you go somewhere and you go on vacation. You go to some, I don't know, place in the middle of nowhere, and you remember this place. But you've never been there. What's the answer? Answer is, it is very possible that your neshama was here in a previous life. That's one of the ways that we could easily explain that question, is things that you've experienced in your life, things that you've seen in your life, could very well be something that you've seen in a previous life. And there are actually people in the world today, over 30 million people. Over 30 million people have admitted to having near-death experiences, and several million people also have admitted to remembering their previous life. There are actually some of them that have YouTube videos. There's a few Druzim. You guys know what Druzim are? Druzim are like, they're like Arabs, but they're not like the terrorist type. They actually like Jews. So they live in Eretz Yisrael. For whatever reason or another, it's very common among their people to have kids that are born that remember their previous life. So there's a few videos on the internet where you see this little, 5-year-old kid who tells his parents, hey, I want to go see my wife. Your wife? What wife? And he tells them, my wife, she lives in this street, and he tells them exactly where they live. They take him there and say, oh, that's my wife. And that's my son. The son is 30 years old. That's my son, he's 30 years old. Yeah, but you're 5. How is your son? He goes, no, I lived here before. I died in the war. I even can tell you that I hid money in the house. And he tells them exactly where there's money hidden in the house, and they go and find it. So there's many of these stories. It's not, you could verify all this stuff. Point being, Rabotai, is that Torah is wider than the ocean, and it has answers for everything, including something that's as simple as seeing something twice or seeing something again. But there are other explanations. This is just one little taste of it.